Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So our first news topic of today is that Tom Cruise has broken his box office record with Top Gun Maverick. So up until recently, Tom Cruise has never actually made more than 70 million in an opening weekend for one of his movies, which sounds insane, but I guess the way that he's always done his marketing with his films has been mostly through word of mouth. He doesn't like to overdo the advertisement, and so a lot of the times people go to watch a Mission Impossible movie or Top Gun back in the day, and they go and tell people, I had a great experience at the movie, and so their friends go and watch it as well. That's usually how it works for him. So while he is like one of, if not the biggest movie stars in the world, his movies have never made over 70 million in an opening weekend. They're not on the level of Marvel or Jurassic World for that instance. But Tom Cruise is arguably a bigger star and a bigger movie star than Chris Pratt. But his movies just don't make the same amount in its opening weekend, but eventually in the end they make a lot of money. But for this one, it has been different. And I'm not really sure what caused it to be different. You know, if you think about it in terms of studio backing, this was a sequel to a movie that was made 30 years ago. So a lot of people in the beginning were like, it's too little too late. But for some reason, the movie has done incredible in its opening weekend and it's broken his record. The movie has opened to $124 million in its first 3 days. Now that is absolutely insane. That's a crazy number, and that's actually the highest box office opening since Jurassic World back in 2018 that wasn't a Marvel movie. So anything that was Marvel has made more, but it's the highest movie, not Marvel, since 2018 in its opening weekend. So it's dating back to pre-COVID numbers, which is absolutely insane. And for Tom Cruise, that is a massive success. And this is a weird one because if you think about it, the demographic that it's targeted to is the 50 plus range. In a way, those are the people who grew up with Top Gun. When they were 20, they saw the first one. And so now it's been 30 years, people are like, it's too little too late, no one wants to see the sequel. But it turns out a lot of people did. And here's the reason why it's done so well, especially coming after COVID. And that is because of the people it's targeted to. So when you think about it, these 50-year-olds were in the demographic that was the least likely to go to the cinema in the last year. In the last year, it's been mostly people between the ages of 15 and 35 going to the cinema. But because this is targeted towards that demographic, a lot of them were so excited that they went to the cinema to see it. And over 55% of the audience of Top Gun Maverick were above 50 years old. So that is absolutely insane in today's standards of theatre goers and movie watchers at the cinema. But another reason it's done super well is because that's only 55%. So a lot of those people are fathers, mothers who have told their kids or shown their kids the first Top Gun. So then younger people have still wanted to go see the sequel because they understand how big of a movie it is and how successful the first one was and how good the first one was. So that's why the movie's done really well. And this is an incredible success. I don't really understand how it ended up being this big of a movie. I was expecting the $70 to $80 million mark. I thought it would break the Tom Cruise record of, I think, 64 million is the highest he's ever done for a movie in its opening weekend. And I was expecting this to break it by about 10 to 15 million. But for it to double, basically, to get $124 million in its opening weekend, that is absolutely insane. But here's the thing as well that I think a lot of people can learn from Tom Cruise and the way that he's navigated the film industry. And that is his movies are very international. They're very international-based stories. They kind of take on aspects of storytelling that anyone can get behind. So that's why he has been so successful in Asia. He's been so successful in India. He's been so successful in America, of course, but also any other Western country as well. That's why his movies tend to do really well in the long run, because regardless of whether or not he makes his money straight away in the first opening weekend, because they're such interesting stories, they're so international, so broad, and they're so, I guess, people would call them cliched and basic, but I would just call them so structured to what storytelling perfection is, if that's a kind of simple way to put it. It's like there are certain elements you have to hit when you're creating a story, and his movies constantly hit those elements that you would call cliched, but everyone ends up liking them. They're cliches for a reason, and that's generally what happens within a Tom Cruise film. So that's why his movies always do really good in the long run. But for this to do well in its opening weekend, I wonder what that number will be in 10, 12 weeks' time at the end of the box office run. What that number might be. Could this be a $700, $800 million movie and be the highest in Tom Cruise's career? Or could this be his first $1 billion movie? Let me know what you guys think. This is super interesting for it to make that much money. Let me know whether or not you've seen the movie, if you're going to see it, if you like it, if you didn't, what you think about Tom Cruise, anything. Let me know in the comments. I really love reading them. So thank you so much to anyone who has commented in the past. If you like this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.